streets and highways are most slippery? A. When it has been raining hard for several hours. B. When they are clean and dry. C. Just after it starts to rain. C. Just after it starts to rain. Driving during the first half hour of rainfall is dangerous because roadways become extremely slippery when the water mixes with oil and other chemicals on the road surfaces that have not yet washed away. Use extra caution when driving on slippery roads. Which of the following blocks the smooth flow of traffic? A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. B. Avoiding unnecessary lane changes. C. Using public transportation instead of your vehicle. A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. Rubbernecking, the practice of slowing down to look at collisions or other out-of-the-ordinary things, contributes to traffic congestion and should be avoided. In inclement weather, you should A. Steer off the road. B. Drive in a low gear. C. Steer and brake smoothly. C. Steer and brake smoothly. When driving during unfavorable weather conditions, avoid slamming on the brakes and making sharp, quick turns. These behaviors will make controlling your vehicle in inclement weather even more difficult. Before returning to your original lane after passing another vehicle, you should A. Beep your horn. B. See both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. C. Flash your headlights. B. See both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. When passing is permitted, look for both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. Only then may you safely return to your original lane.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When entering the interstate on a short entrance ramp where there is no acceleration lane, you should A. Immediately enter the far right traffic lane on the interstate and speed up to match the flow of traffic. B. Use the shoulder of the main road to get up to the speed of traffic. C. Speed up and enter the interstate only after you have identified a gap in traffic. C. Speed up and enter the interstate only after you have identified a gap in traffic. When entering the interstate on a short entrance ramp where there is no acceleration lane, speed up only after you have identified a gap in traffic. In general, you should be stopped while waiting for a gap to appear. The proper way to make a right turn is to A. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the centerline before turning. B. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the right curb before turning. C. Approach the corner in the lane nearest the right curb, but move over toward the middle of the street before turning. B. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the right curb before turning. Before beginning a right turn, use the appropriate signal to give surrounding drivers adequate notice of your intentions. Slow down and approach the intersection from the right lane, staying as close as is practical to the right curb or edge of the roadway. If you have had several beers, the effects of alcohol will be reduced only by A. Taking a cold shower. B. Waiting several hours. C. Drinking several cups of coffee. No zones are areas around trucks where cars A. Disappear into blind spots or are so close that they restrict the truck driver's ability to stop and maneuver safely. B. Have sufficient space to travel behind the truck. C. Have several car lengths between their vehicle and the truck. A. Disappear into blind spots or are so close that they restrict the truck driver's ability to stop and maneuver safely. No zones are areas around trucks or buses in which cars disappear into the larger vehicle's blind spots. No zones can also be defined as areas in which cars are so close to the larger vehicle that they restrict the truck or bus driver's ability to stop and maneuver safely. A car being in a no zone greatly increases the potential for a crash. A distraction when driving is A. Anything that causes evasive action while driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. C. Anything that causes you to pay more attention to driving. Various traffic control devices in construction and maintenance work areas are the color A. Red. B. Orange. C. Yellow. B. Orange. Orange warning signs are used in and around work zones. Use special caution when you see orange signs, cones, or barriers on a roadway. When changing lanes. A. Rely on the rear-view mirror. B. Look over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. C. Rely on the left side mirror. B. Look over your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. When changing lanes, glance over your shoulder to check for traffic in your blind spot. You may need to look several times before changing lanes. You must keep track of what traffic is doing in front of you as well as what traffic is doing in the lane next to you. Motorcycles, scooters, and mopeds are not easy to see. Therefore, you should A. Slow down when driving. B. Make constant visual checks. C. Share a lane with a motorcycle. If bad weather makes it difficult for you to see clearly, you should A. Speed up to get off the road quickly. B. Drive in the lane closest to oncoming traffic. C. Increase your following distance. C. Increase your following distance. When it is difficult to see due to darkness or poor weather, increase your following distance. This will give you more time to react to hazards that you may not see in advance. What is the only medically proven method of removing alcohol or other drug combinations from your system? A. Breathe in some fresh air. B. Give your body time. C. Drink coffee. Fatigue increases the risk of A. Missing an exit. B. Being late for an appointment. C. Falling asleep behind the wheel and crashing. C. Falling asleep behind the wheel and crashing. Fatigue causes errors related to speed and distance, increases your risk of being in a crash, and causes you to take more time to make decisions. When you are fatigued, you could fall asleep behind the wheel and crash, injuring or killing yourself or others. While driving at night, a vehicle coming toward you has its high beams on, making it hard for you to see the road ahead. You should A. Look ahead toward the left edge of your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. C. Look straight ahead in your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. If an oncoming driver fails to dim their high beams, you should avoid looking directly at the headlights. Instead, look toward the right edge of your lane and watch the oncoming vehicle out of the corner of your eye. Which of these statements is true about driving and taking medications? A. Most cold medications can make a person drowsy. B. Over-the-counter medications cannot impair driving ability if taken in the recommended dosages. C. Medications are safe to take at any time, if prescribed by a doctor. A. Most cold medications can make a person drowsy. Remember that all medications, prescription or over-the-counter, are potentially dangerous and could impair your driving. Over-the-counter medicines that you take for colds and allergies can make you drowsy and affect your driving ability. It is your responsibility to know how your medication affects your ability to drive. Prior to entering a curve. A. Activate your turn signal. B. Reduce your speed. C. Brake hard. B. Reduce your speed. You may drive more slowly than the posted speed limit, based on road conditions, but it is illegal to drive any faster than the posted speed limit. Some conditions which require reduced speed for safety include approaching curves or hills where visibility is limited, driving on slippery roads, and driving on roads where animals and pedestrians are present. Interstate driving requires drivers to A. Have the ability to safely drive at increased speeds. B. Be constantly alert. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. Safe use of the interstate demands drivers be constantly alert and capable of driving at high speeds. Yellow lines separate A. Traffic lanes on one-way streets. B. Traffic moving in opposite directions on two-way roads. C. All carpool lanes from regular traffic lanes. B. Traffic moving in opposite directions on two-way roads. Yellow lines mark the center of a road used for two-way traffic. A solid yellow centerline indicates that drivers may not cross the line to pass. A broken yellow centerline indicates that drivers may cross the line to pass, but only if passing would not interfere with traffic. To be able to turn quickly, your hands must be A. On opposite sides of the steering wheel. B. Next to each other on the top of the steering wheel. C. On the top and bottom of the steering wheel. A. On opposite sides of the steering wheel. Both hands should be placed on opposite sides of the steering wheel. This position is comfortable and promotes safe turning on high-speed roadways. You should use your horn when A. Another vehicle is in your way. B. It may help prevent a collision. C. Another driver makes a mistake. B. It may help prevent a collision. Only use your horn when it is necessary to avoid collisions. Do not use your horn if a driver or bicyclist is moving slowly and you want him or her to drive faster or get out of your way. When approaching an intersection controlled by a flashing yellow light, you must A. Come to a complete stop at the intersection. B. Maintain your normal speed. C. Slow down and proceed with caution. C. Slow down and proceed with caution. A traffic signal displaying a flashing yellow light indicates that you should be alert and proceed with caution. Slow down when approaching a flashing yellow traffic signal. When driving in fog or mist, Never put your headlights on the high beam setting because A. The light will reflect back into your eyes. B. Approaching vehicles might not see you. C. Vehicles behind you may follow too closely. A. The light will reflect back into your eyes. In foggy or misty conditions, you should not use your headlights on their high beam setting because the light will be reflected back into your eyes. To prevent yourself from becoming an aggressive driver. A. Relax and concentrate on driving. B. Drive above the posted speed limit. C. Tailgate the driver in front of you. A. Relax and concentrate on driving. To prevent yourself from becoming an aggressive driver, concentrate on driving and don't take the actions of other drivers personally. Be realistic about your travel time, drive within posted speed limits, and be forgiving of other drivers using the roadway. This sign means A. One-way traffic. B. Intersection ahead. C. Merging traffic from the right. C. Merging traffic from the right. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign tells drivers to prepare to allow traffic to safely merge from the right. The amount of alcohol in the blood is referred to as A. Implied consent, IC. B. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC. C. Rate of alcohol consumption, RAC. B. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC. Blood alcohol concentration, BAC, is a measurement of the percentage of alcohol in the blood. The higher the BAC number, the more impaired a person is. A solid yellow arrow on a traffic signal means A. You should speed up so you can make the turn before the light changes. B. You do not need to signal to turn from the indicated lane. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. A solid yellow arrow means that the protection of a green arrow is ending. If you are turning in the direction of the arrow, you should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic before turning. Highway pavement will be particularly treacherous and most slippery. A. If it has been raining several hours. B. If it has just begun to rain. C. If it has been raining for 1 to 2 hours. B. If it has just begun to rain. Pavement is particularly treacherous when it first begins to rain. Accumulations of dirt and oil mix with the rainwater, creating a greasy film on the roadway. At an intersection with stop signs on all corners, yield the right of way to any driver. A. On your left. B. Who arrived before you. C. Across from your vehicle. B. Who arrived before you. After coming to a full stop, vehicles should proceed through a four-way stop in the order in which they arrive to the intersection. If multiple vehicles arrive at the same time, the vehicle on the left must yield the right of way to the vehicle on the right.